So now you've finished your banner, you're going to need to cut off the excess interfacing. So I haven't finished my banner, but so it comes unstuck fairly easily. You can just rip it away, and you'll just need to cut around the shapes, just because you don't want all this excess interfacing flapping around on the back of your banner. So cut around your shapes to start with. I haven't done it yet because I haven't finished this sample, but you cut away neatly around your shapes with your scissors so that it's nice and neat, and then I'll show you what to do next. So what we're going to need to do now is just iron out the creases that we've made from putting in a hoop. And the way you want to do this without flattening your stitches on the right side is to have your towel on your table or on your ironing board, and then lay your piece of fabric down right side down. Then I would probably put another towel on top of that, only that the interfacing can sometimes be a bit sensitive to the iron, and you might need a bit of a hotter heat to get the marks out and the creases out. So lay the towel, you probably only need one layer of the towel over that. So then on a medium heat we're going to be ironing the creases out. So I've just done a final with a really, my iron is on 2 on a wall setting, and I've just gone over the interfacing and it's actually fine. So maybe get the most of the creases out with the towel, and then finish actually on the interfacing. So we've got our banner, which is looking neat. We're going to need the iron again though. So you can turn your iron up a bit now, because we're going to need a little bit more heat to press the edges of the banner. So the pale grey edges around your banner show where you need to fold the fabric to be the edge of the banner, and the top grey edge is where you need to fold. This grey line is where we're going to be sewing the little pocket for our dowel. So the pale grey, the bottom grey line, sorry, the top grey line, and these edge lines here show where the outer boundaries of the banner are. Now we've done that, we've got 2 choices as to what you do next. So on this sample banner, I just folded the edges in and I didn't fold them back under again and hem them, so I've left them raw, which is fine for a banner. It's not getting kind of everyday wear and tear. It just doesn't look as neat as the way I'm going to show you to do it now. The second way though is a little bit more fiddly, so it's up to you. You might want to just leave it like this and start sewing your edges with them, with the hems kind of left raw, but I'll show the other way as well. So the second way to do it, and the way where you get a neater hem, is to just fold the fabric in on itself again, so that you have this really nice neat line here, and then I've pinned it just before we're going to be sewing it. So you're just basically taking the half of the fabric here and pressing it and folding it under to form a little neat hem. So do that all the way around if that's the way you want to go. And to start with, we're just going to sew all the way around, so don't fold over the top bit yet. We're just going to do our stitching, which I'll show you in a minute, all the way around. So we've used our iron to press our edges, and use your iron to get some really lovely sharp corners. That's going to really help you get a neat finish. And I'm just going to show you the stitch. So we're going to use the cream thread that was included in your kit, and we're just using 1 strand, and what we're going to do is a back stitch just all the way down the edge, and we're going to go in because we want to capture the thread, the fabric that we've folded in, so we're going to be going about 2 or 3 millimeters in from the edge, and we're just doing a little back stitch, and make those stitches as neat as possible so that they kind of blend in and you don't really see them, and the colour that the thread is really helps it blend in as well. So obviously you could use a sewing machine if you have one to do this, but not everybody has one, so, and lots of people like just doing everything by hand, so we are just going to go all the way down to the end using this back stitch. Use your lovely pins to pin as you go along and take them out as you kind of pass. So I finished just sewing up one end here, one side, so that's what it looks like. You can't really see it, which is great, and I've sewn all the way up to the top here, and I thought it'd be useful for absolute beginners to just show you how I finish off an end where I want it to be really secure. So you would just normally at the end of your stitching, if it was a hoop, just tie a knot, but I'm going to do a few knots by just making a loop with my thread and going through it, and then again making a loop with my, you can't see that, I'll do it again, thread and going through it. So this is just, I'm grabbing the top layer of fabric here, I'm not going right the way through, so you can't see it from the front, but with my needle I'm just grabbing the top layer and going through the top layer, pulling it tight until I've got a little loop, and then pulling the thread through, which creates a nice little knot. And if you do that 2 or 3 times, you finish off the ends really nicely and really securely. So now we've stitched around all 4 edges of our banner, we're going to go to the top. So there's 2 grey lines at the top. The bottom grey line is where you stitch your pocket. We're going to stitch along that grey line. The top grey line is where you fold the fabric over. So again, ignore the black lines on the top section. We're just going to fold that over, tuck in your corners and pin, and then use the guide on the front of the banner to stitch along, so you will catch the fabric probably just above this black line. Which we've just gone really sunny. So yeah, we're going to stitch that top bit, and then I will show you how to put the wooden dowel in. So I've just sewn along the back, and then you can see I've stitched along that grey line, so we've now got a pocket for our dowel. And so you just take your dowel and push it in one side there, and then you should be able to just see it coming through there, and you've got 2 little ends. So what we do is just tie the string to one end and the other end, just as long as you can cut the string for hanging if you want, have it longer or shorter. I'll show you. So I've just tied one knot, I'm just going to snip it off so that it's nice and neat, and then you have your little banner ready to hang, except yours will be finished, mine isn't finished. So there we go.